Welcome to Viben Gold, a collection of guided meditations put into podcast form for your easy listening. My name is Vivian Gerard, and I will be walking with you through the intoxicating now moments of life here on this planet. These audios are intended to be used as a full meditation if you want to close your eyes, settle down into a comfy spot, and let your subconscious come all the way forward. Or it can simply be some background conversation where the nuggets of information that you most need will make their way into your awareness. Whichever way it works for you, I invite you to open up and enjoy fully this journey of life that we are all taking together. So much love to you. Good morning and welcome to Soul Shine. It is Sunday morning, 10 o'clock, my favorite hour, one of my favorite hours of the week, and I am so happy that we are all together today. Actually, I'm going to start with a quick story. It's interesting. I've been taking a Kundalini yoga class for the past couple of months, and I picked Kundalini because it's about managing your energy flow and getting more familiar with how energy moves through your body. So it was a type of yoga that really pulled towards me the most. And I went for 5 or 6 weeks, and then I went on vacation, and then there was a break between that session and this next one. And so I went 2 weeks without my yoga class. And I showed up on Thursday. It's Thursday mornings downtown. And I showed up, and I was almost giddy. I was so excited. I'm like, yes, finally, I get to connect back in and have someone guide me through this process. And my energies felt sluggish. And, it was just so good to show up and relax into the space and know that someone was going to be, moving me through my own energy in a way that I trusted. And I know this woman is so good at feeling the energy of the space and then taking you in the direction that, stretches your body, pushes you outside of your comfort zone a little bit, but has you so connected to yourself that you don't care if you hurt the next day. You don't care if your muscles are achy. It was such a great experience. And so I offer that to you today, right? Here is the space where you just get to fall into the arms of someone who can hold you and who can say, we're going to go this way. And you're going to stretch a little. And then we're going to go this way. And you're going to stretch some more. And there's a familiarity to the Kundalini class. She starts in the same way each time. She has the same music that she plays at the opening. We end with the same closing. And in between she brings these new, what they call, I think, kriyas, combination of exercises. She brings in a new kriya each week, and we look at that energy movement in our body in a different way. And so that is what we do here also. There's a familiarity to how we drop into our energy space and connect back in with our bodies and release some of the energies that have been gathering since you were last on the call. And then we open up to something new, and we do new exercises that will invite you to see and understand your place here in the world, your connection to yourself, in hopefully a different way, a new way. So I am excited, so excited that we are playing again on a Sunday. So here we go. Go ahead and settle yourself into your seat. Excuse me. So settle yourself into your seat. Let yourself land. Connect back in with your body. And then connect back in with your breath, just like in yoga. So notice the pace of your breathing. If you're going too fast, if you're going too slow, if there's even a right or a wrong way, which there isn't, right? Notice what your breathing feels like in this moment. And then see if there's a more natural pace that you can align with. Yeah, and when you do that long, slow exhale out of your mouth, it settles your cells, it settles your heart rhythm, it slows the pace of life in and around you. It quietens, how do you say that? Quietens down. It makes quieter the inside of you and the environment around you. So go ahead and just do that for yourself. Some long, slow exhales out. It's almost like bringing the elevator back down to the ground floor, right? You're releasing the pressure through your breath. Good. And this is such a beautiful practice that you can use anytime, right? If you're getting nervous about something, or you're angry, or you're scared, or you're sad, breath is always the way through. It's what they say in yoga too, right? Like the breath can get you through any pose. And as you connect to your breath, you drop deeper into that position that you're holding, or that movement that you're going through. And so breath is what will get you through any difficulty, any emotion. So let's just do one more together. You want to do a big inhale in, and then long and slow out through your mouth. Good, and then let's start pulling our energy into our bodies. So for many of us, we have been running, doing, busy, through the week, through the month, through just even this morning. So allow yourself to become really still and steady. In the yoga class I go to, she calls it the easy pose. She said, go to easy pose and then find your center, find your still point, your set point. You can use any of those words, right? What that means to me is when I want to get centered, I start with the physical. So I sit my body up straight. I open up my shoulders so that my heart can beam out. I align my body so that I feel centered, right? If someone was looking at me, they would see good posture, meaning I'm straight from my hips up if you're sitting. If you're laying, you can just stretch, right? Like in the corpse pose, you stretch your body out. And then there's a way that you can, let me see if I can describe it well. For me, when I am doing my meditations, there's a way I turn my head to the left, or I turn my head to the right, or I'm tilting, or my shoulders or my body are leaning forward or to the side. So when I am intending to go to my center, my still set point, what I do is I physically make everything centered. So I stretch my shoulders back, I have my head straight, I put my eyesight, even with my eyelids closed, I put my eyesight straight ahead or tilted up towards the third eye. Yeah. And then I just feel like if I were centered on the center of the earth, if I were just sitting on the surface here, knowing I'm directly aligned with the center of the earth and with Source above me, would my posture show that? And in the posture, the physical showing it, the energetic can start to go, oh, no, wait, that part's not centered. Let's bring that one back in from the left. That energy over there is like 5 miles away from me. I'm going to just pull that back in from the right. Right, and use your breath to just pull your energy back into your body. If you find yourself leaning forward, gently pull your body back so that you're not trying to get to something, go to somewhere. You're just here in your body, pulling your energy back in. If you find yourself leaning backwards or resisting, fighting from the back, like you're trying to pull this weight from the back forward, just notice that. It might feel like someone's grabbing your shoulder too tight, or like there's a weight on your shoulder. I'm specifically feeling it on my right as I tune into all of us. So if that's the case, just imagine you can gently go, oh, I see that. I notice I've been carrying the burden for me, for everyone, whoever, for work, whatever it is. I'm just going to pull that energy forward so that it just lands in the center of my body and down to my hips, to my root. Here you go, good. Yeah, when you bring the energy down in, it doesn't have to have as tight a hold on the shoulder. Right? And then you can imagine, too, just pouring some love on that poor shoulder that's had to work so hard and hold everything for everyone. Right? Just imagine you can cover it with honey or gold or a beautiful compress or warm water, a massage, whatever the shoulder needs. Bring your attention to it, massage it, release the energy. There you go. Down into the body. Good work. Down into the body. And then you straighten your posture back up again. You feel yourself coming to center. And then you just tune back in. Is there more of my energy outside of me? If so, in this moment, I'm just going to magnetically call it back in. Call it back in. Why? One, because it's fun. It's just fun to play with energy. It's fun to feel it coming back into your body and realize you did that. There's no one outside of you going, I'm pounding on your shoulder and the energy won't come in. It's you that just did that. Right? So why do I play with energy? It's freaking awesome. It's so fun. And the more you play, the better you get, the more fun it becomes. The more you start to master that skill. So, yeah, that's funny. I hadn't realized it, so I just said it to you guys. Why do I play with energy? Because I love it. It is absolutely hysterically fun. And it just gets better. The more I understand and learn about it, the more fun and playful and enjoyable energy becomes. So that would be the main reason. But the second is it doesn't feel good, to have that weight on your shoulders. It's resistance. It's like you're fighting yourself. It doesn't serve you. It doesn't feel great. But when you're committed to keeping it there, or you're not creating time to be still to feel that it's there, it gets heavier. It gets more solid. It gets more dense. And then suddenly, it becomes illness. And then, for some of us, we end up having surgeries or needing therapy, physical therapy, or, a million things that can go wrong physically, and then we're needing medical care. Energy easily and quickly moves it so fast that you don't have to go all the way down that road. And all of that is just more and more distraction from being who you're meant to be in this life, right? When you're ill, when your body is saying in the physical, I don't feel good, and you need to pay attention to me, your attention has to go to the illness. It has to go to trying to fix the thing that feels out of alignment or broken or not good. And in my opinion, that just slows us down. It's making life less enjoyable than how life could be. It keeps us stuck, in patterns that don't serve and don't feel good to us or anyone around us. I don't know about you guys, but when I have sick people around me in my family, man, the whole house gets grumpy. Everyone gets grumpy because the person who has the lowest vibration is like, come down here. It's miserable down here. Do you see how sad I am? Do you see how heavy I feel? Do you see how sick everything is? Do you see how bad the world is? And we all go down, right, into the sadness of it. So life's more fun. It is more enjoyable when you can just shift with energy and not need to go down the path of the illness. When the physical just supports play and expansion and love and supporting other people, because your physical body is so strong and healthy, you can just show up with other people and love them and be with them and play. So, yeah, I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but let's go ahead. Pull whatever other energy outside of you wants to come back in. one more thing I'll name. Sometimes the reason we don't do this is because we're afraid of how powerful we actually are when we are fully in our bodies. Right? For many of us, we are used to being disconnected, a little separate, less than, not enough, abandoned, forgotten, whatever the words are. We have these beliefs that that's who we are. And when we actually pull all of our energy in, go ahead and just do 2 or 3 more pulls in, just for a moment, just to play. So pull your energy in. Imagine the magnet in the center of you is like, whoa, we're going to go all the way to 90% present here. Energy coming in, coming in, coming in, coming in. Even when it doesn't feel like there's enough room, just play for a moment. Pull all of your energy as much as you can into your physical body right in this moment. Breathe to let it land. Stretch your shoulders out. Feel the vibration you can hold just in this instant when you pull your energy back in. Yeah, that's more you. Literally, more you here. That's more of your energy in your body. Yeah, and notice, it's fun. It's not, well, that's my assumption. I'm assuming for you it's the same. It's a fun energy when it comes in. It's exciting. It's joyful. It's let's go charge the gates. Let's go do the thing. Let's go be something somewhere, because we have all this energy inside of us. Right? It can be a new feeling. Sometimes it's scary or intense to feel that, and so we start to leak our energy out, and we hand it to other people, and we drain it out the bottom of us, and we find a million ways to give it away, right? To send it to other people or just fizzle it. Facebook is one of the best. I notice every time I'm on Facebook, I pop on to do a few things or say a quick message, a couple messages to people, and I notice my energy starts to just go because so many people want energy in that space, and my way is to hand it over because I love them, and it doesn't serve me to do that. It doesn't serve me. So there's no judgment. I still get on Facebook, but now I'm conscious. I am aware that happens, and I can hold my space a little better as I am visiting in there. So, yeah, you can keep this fullness inside of you if you want. For the rest of the call, you can lower the intensity or the volume. If you were at 90 and 60 feels more comfortable, awesome. Go down to 60%. But the awareness that you control the fullness of your power inside of you, that's what I would love for you to see or feel. You control that. Create the time and the space in your day to practice this, right? To play with energy, to go, whoop, hold it, and then breathe it out. You'll start to increase your capacity to be more powerful, to be more present, to be more full. And then it just becomes a playful game, Yeah, I'm playful today. I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm trying. I grounded. I went all the way down, 8 miles down before the call, and I'm still just super happy. So you are getting happy today. All right, let's do some grounding together. Feet on the floor, or if you're laying in a bed or on the ground, stretched out, you can use the heels or the ankles of your feet. Okay, so feet on the floor. I want you to feel your partnership with the earth, right? So I'm very comfortable with my partnership with the earth, and I'll show you what that looks or feels like to me, but this is about you and your connection, your dance with this earth that you chose to walk on at this time. This planet, this time, your body. So go ahead and wiggle your toes, your feet, stretch them out a little bit. You can plant your heels in or your ankles. Let yourself feel that there is a vibrational connection between you and the earth. If you were a tree, you would know that the deeper you root down into the earth, the taller your tree is going to be able to go and the wider the branches are going to be able to spread. If you have 6-inch roots into the earth and you want to be a tree that's 20 feet tall that shades a family that's having a picnic, 6 inches of roots is not going to cut it. And I know that. I believe that to be true. And the more that I practice grounding, the more that I feel the capacity I have to stretch wide and stretch up and stretch out, right? The more capacity I have to play because I'm not having to struggle just to stay balanced on 6 inches of roots. So I want you to play today with it if you want. Just play. So start with 6 inches. Imagine you can just start to grow roots from the bottoms of your feet or your ankles or your heels, and they're just going to go through the carpet and the concrete of your house, for example. If you're on the bottom floor, you can just visualize, okay, we're going to have just enough roots that it can go through all of that energetically, and it can go right underneath, and then there's a little bit of dirt, and we can just sort of sense. So imagine your roots are just sort of feeling it out. Do I like the dirt? Does this feel like a safe environment for my roots to go in deeper? Kind of like a probe, right? Or a scout, someone in the Indian Native American tradition who would go out just to test the land. Imagine your roots have that ability, and then you make the choice. So what I can tell you is what I know for sure. The more that I partner with the earth, the more that I visualize grounding, the deeper my roots go, the less I hold in my physical body. So when I sit down to meditate and I drop my roots, I immediately start yawning, or I can feel energy like magnetized down through my body, like whooshing down through the bottom. And I could hold that. I could say, that's mine. That's my stuff. I've worked really hard to figure out that I have these feelings or emotions or blocks. I'm going to hold on to those. What I've found is when I just go, that was old. That wasn't mine. I picked that up from somewhere else or someone else. It just moves through, and it's like a pipe that gets unclogged. Right? We are energetic beings. We are meant to just move vibrational energy through us and then constantly be refining what our vibration is, what it's sending out, what it's tuning into. And if our pipes get clogged with everything that we want to hold for ourselves and everybody else, our vibrational tuning gets messy, because then we're wondering, am I tuning into what's inside or what's coming from the outside, or what even is all this energy? It gets like soupy and messy. So if we trust that the earth is partnering with us, just like a tree trusts, it knows I'm going to send my roots down. Let's say we go 10 feet. We'll go from 6 inches to 10 feet and see if you can feel the difference. So roots 10 feet, if you choose, down into the earth underneath your home or wherever you are today. 10 feet down, and then when you hit 10 feet down, imagine there's a little sort of bump that the roots hit. And they're like, oh, okay, now we're going to go wide. We're going to go 10 feet wide right underneath your physical body in all directions. 10 feet. The roots are just going to go sideways and multiply. Yeah, good work. What it feels like to me is like energy starts to move in my legs, and my legs get heavier, and I feel like my belly is being pulled down more. So notice, like my shoulders start to hunch, like see how your body reacts. And that's the earth sort of tugging at you like a plunger, right? She says, I see you doing this. Are you going to hand it over, or are you going to hold on to it in your physical body? And you can stay suspended here for the rest of the call, right? Like, I don't know. Do I want to hand it over, or do I want to keep it? Or you could just play today, and you could say, I'm just going to go, I'm just handing it. I'm just releasing whatever these energetic blocks are in my body straight over to the earth, and I'm just going to relax every muscle. I'm going to lean back in my chair. I'm going to take a breath and just feel how the earth is happy to take from me whatever I just handed over. And she's happy to just keep receiving it while we go through the rest of the call. She's just going to take whatever comes up and move it out my feet. Yeah, this may feel a little wobbly, or you might get lightheaded if you've held onto a lot recently and you just let it go. You might be like, whoa, what just happened? So use breath. Just use breath to feel your body again. It's just a physical and an energetic that are getting together and going, oh, yeah, there's this other way that we can coexist. We just forgot for a little while. No judgment, no shame. Just here's this opportunity to clear some energy. I keep seeing this image, so I'm going to share it with you as you just feel releasing happening if you've got a lot that you're releasing in this moment. I pulled a tarot card for my daughter this week, and it was called Courage. It was so beautiful. It's a picture, and it shows this layer of thick rock, kind of like what I would picture the concrete of a house looking like, the foundation. It showed this thick, thick rock. It was on the card like a third of the size of the card. And at the bottom there was this tiny little seed underneath the rock. And then you could see how somehow the seed had grown a sprout, and it had wound its way through the rock. And then right at the top of the rock, this flower somehow sprouted through. And all around the flower is rock. You can't see any other flowers. But there's this one beautiful flower, and it's got these huge white daisy petals, and there's sunshine that's pouring down on this flower. And that's the card. It's rock, seed, flower, sun. And I feel that, but in reverse right now for what we're looking at, right? There's you, this little person, this flower in the sun that's trying to shine and trying to be the fullest expression of yourself. And it feels like there's all this density and heaviness and rock underneath our feet, and somehow we just got to keep this flower watered. We got to keep it happy, and yet how when there's no support underneath or around us? And so I say, yeah, you're actually fully supported. You just have to trust that through the energetics, you can get through the rock to the nourishment that is underneath, right, which is the earth. It's there. It's fertile. It transmutes pain into love all day long, every single day. I fully believe that. And so the secret is you root in, you ground in. So one more scan of your body. Imagine you can go from the top of your head all the way down to your feet, and you can just move out any of the blocks or the judgments or the evaluations or the energies other people have handed you, anything that doesn't feel good in this moment. Imagine you can just push it down to the feet. Right, and then just trust. I'm going to release that into the earth. She's going to take it, recycle it, purify it, and during this call, what's going to come back into my physical body is purified energy, powerful energy, love, support, creative energy, playful energy, right? And it happens without you having to do anything except trust and release. Good. All right, let that run. Let that run. And let's see. So, all right, swear word alert. You're going to hear a swear word often for the rest of the call. I don't even know how many times, and I'm not even going to count because it would probably be shameful. But we're going to talk about this card game that we played on vacation called Bullshit, which is hysterical and so much fun, and we'll get into that in a second. But what I would love to visualize as we connect in with Source is all of us, perhaps, since we're in community this morning, all of us sitting at a card table, like a poker game, which is very fun. I don't know how to play poker, but I just visualize all of us like sitting at this big table with smoke and cigars and like lights hanging down and cards and money all over the table, like just fun, right? Just a fun game of cards with souls who are ready to just be silly for a minute. So find your seat. Visualize where you're sitting at the card game. If you want to be really silly, you can visualize how much you have in cash in front of you and the cards that you're playing with, and right, like you can be as silly as you want. All right, let's make space for Source to have a seat at the card table also. So because Source is able to be everywhere and in all things at all times, we could have 50 sources at the table or 100 sources. You could have one source on either side of you, whatever feels right to you. But imagine Source energy just arrives at the table. Yeah, and then notice, so does Source feel grounded, or does Source feel like way up and stretching, that you have to look all the way up to try feel or see Source? What I notice always is somehow Source is down and up at the same time, right? Like grounded, solid. To me, Source always has a density or a touchability. Is that a word? Touchability of form. Like I visualize Source in human form very often. And in this moment, that's how it appears to me, right, is as the form of a person. And it can be silly or it can be serious. So whatever form works for you, trust that. It doesn't have to look like my form. But I want you to feel like as Source sits at the table here, ready to play cards with us, notice the energy with which Source does that. So, for example, many people that I talk to or have known in my life, when we talk about God or Source, the image is of this light figure in white, perhaps a male, perhaps older, that is watching the entire world and sitting somewhere up high above us. And so he's very busy and he doesn't have time for us to come and bring our problems. Or if he does, get your shit together before you bring it, right? Like there's a lot of more serious, more pressing concerns that God is dealing with, and so ours really feel trivial. And that has always created this feeling of separation for me. Like I'm too small or not important enough to take the attention of the God that actually created me. And that is the separation that I mentioned in the email about the call for this week. This belief that we are not one with the God who created us. We are from Source, but not really. There's a forgetting or an abandonment that has happened between us and this creator of us. And so when I communicate, and I do this all day long, I call that energy Source. I'm totally comfortable with the name God also, or One, or Creator, Universe. To me, they're all completely interchangeable. When I am just connecting with that energy throughout the day, it's a conversation, in my mind. For a long time, I thought I was crazy. I thought I was the only one who did this, and the more I fall into it, the more I realize everyone does this in their own way. We might give that version of God different names, but we're all doing it all the time. And so when I visualize this card game, does Source God have time to come and play cards with us? This group called Soul Shine that's on the phone, really, right now? Yeah, 100% yes. Where else would God rather be than hanging out with people who are bringing love and attention and awareness into this moment of now? Consciousness, God, is about expansion. more and more, right? This universe, this planet Earth that we are all inhabiting, it's about creating more love, more technology, more understanding of science, more children, more oxygen, more water. If we can make more land, and we're trying to do that, right? In Saudi Arabia and different countries, like they're trying really hard in Dubai to create more land. There's this desire for more always. That, I believe, is the energy of God. God's not saying, don't have more children. Stop creating. We have enough people on the planet. There's enough consciousness. There's enough thoughts. Stop. No more. It's the complete opposite, right? What God is saying is, yes, that, and make this connection and go in this direction and bring your gift and expand more than you've ever believed possible. Where better for God to sit than right here in this space with all of us as we clear energy out, hand it over to the earth, and then we say, let's play cards. Let's see what we can add, what we can learn from each other, what new ideas can be brought forward, and where we can take those. So when we leave this call, what do we do with it? You know, God sits here, I believe firmly, and says, take what you get in this moment and go create another moment. And then go do another moment after that. And then go tell someone else and do that moment. Right? Don't ever slow down or stop unless you're just resting. Don't hide out. Don't make yourself small. Be bigger, bolder, more, brighter. So, I believe God wants to play cards today, which is why we're going to invite Source Energy to have a seat at the table, or as many seats as Source would like. I tend to use the male version when I talk about Source, and I think that's just because that's what I grew up with. God was always a he, and it's just, I'm actually cool with that, you know. I mean, I like the masculine, so I'm totally all right with God being a he, but if you prefer to say she, I'm very cool with that too. So use whatever, you know, adverb? No. pronoun you want to use, and we'll just see where the game takes us. So we're just going to let Source sit while we play the game together. Here's the backstory. So we went on vacation a couple weeks ago, and it was myself and Brad and our kids, and then we had my nephew and two of Callie's friends with us, so there were 7 of us. And we had already made it clear we're going down so that we can play in the ocean, we can be in the sunshine, we'll eat out a few dinners, but it's about chill. It's about everyone just hanging out. You don't have to do everything we all do. Everyone just gets to unwind. No huge agenda, no big plan. So sometimes in those unstructured places, the most fun can come, right? Versus if we're trying to schedule every moment and know what everything is going to be, we miss the spontaneity that can pop up. So the very first night, we got down there and we had dinner, we got some pizza, we came back, it was about 9 o'clock, and we weren't ready for bed. We were still kind of wired from driving all day, and most of the kids slept in the car, so everyone's kind of like settling but not sure what to do. And we were sitting around, the Olympics were on, and we were all kind of bored a little, like, okay, we're here, now what? And my nephew says, hey, I've got this card game. He's 15. I've got this card game we can play. And we're like, okay, sure. And he's like, yeah, it's got a bad word, but it's really funny. And we're like, okay. And he's like, well, it's called bullshit. And I had not heard of the game before, but everyone else had. And instantly, they're all like, all the teenagers, I love that game. That game is the best. So we're going to go through the game together and use this as a parallel or a simile for life, right? So I don't know how many times I'm going to swear, but roll with it. So we set the cards up. I actually opted out the first time. I wanted to just sort of observe, and I was also tired because I did a lot of the driving, and I just felt like I was holding the energy for everyone. I was like, oh, God, I'm drained. This is a lot of work with all these people. So I was watching. So basically everyone gets cards. I don't remember how many. I think we start with 7 or 10 or something. Everyone gets cards, and the point of the game is you want to get rid of all the cards. You want to be the first person who has 0 cards. So they all get their cards, and I'm trying to watch to see what they're doing. And you're supposed to go in order, so you start with an ace, and then the next person next to you is going to do a 2, and the next person's going to do a 3 and a 4, and so you go around and you keep starting over. But if you don't have that card, you have to pretend you have a card or pick up a card. And since you're trying to get rid of the cards, you don't ever want to pick up a card from the deck. So you have to fake it. You have to put on a smoke screen, right? Play a little poker. You have to pretend you've got something you don't. If you pretend and you put a card down and someone else feels like you're pretending and they say bullshit, you pick up all the cards in the pile, which could be a lot. If you have the card and you said you had the card and you put the card down and someone thought you were lying and they said bullshit, they pick up the cards. And so it's fast moving and also extremely unpredictable because you're always taking a risk, right? You're guessing, do they have that? Do they not have that? Do I have that? There's this element of surprise and fun. So they start playing, and I will admit immediately the biggest draw of the game for them, I think, was that they got to swear in front of the adults. That they got to say bullshit to mom and dad, like, hello, could there be anything more fun to a teenager than that? And they got to let off steam, right? Like there's something fun about accusing someone else of lying, of faking it, and then pulling it off because they are faking it. Like there's something so satisfying about that. So here are the parallels, and I'm assuming you're already seeing some of them. As we sit here at this card table and we have Source by our side, what I feel instantly is the biggest thrill of the game is that we all did it together, that we were playing, that it didn't even matter at the end. I couldn't tell you who won or lost. I don't remember how many games Ryan won or Brad won. I just know we laughed. We laughed. We had so much fun. We ended up playing it every single night, except for maybe 1 or 2. Like we played it almost every night we were there. And they were so excited. We were all so happy to sit down and do this game. So as you sit here with Source, I would love for you to feel the anticipation, right? When Source says, go be consciousness in human form. Go down on planet Earth, put on that body that you call Viv, that smoke screen that says you've got it all figured out, and then start playing cards, right? God, our ally, just like Earth, our ally, doesn't say, see ya, goodbye, good luck, hope it's a good ride, I'll see you at the end of the game and you tell me if you've won or lost. No, never. It might feel that way, right? We might believe that sometimes. People might tell us that, like, you're worthless, you don't mean anything. And maybe we believe it, but it's not true. I call bullshit on that. It's not true. In an instant, in the moment of awareness, in the moment of stillness, when you sit and you clear out the junk from your body and you tune in and you say, energy, God, consciousness, source, creator, where the hell are you? If you allow space, if you open your heart, if you sit in this room at this table with other people and realize you're just playing cards, you're just here on a journey, in an instant you are supported and connected. You already are love, and then you just become one with that community of love. But we get so entrenched in these old beliefs that we forget we're just playing cards together. We're just hanging out. We're just here for the game and the journey. So in this moment, keep your feet open. Anything that has come up as I've said that to you, old story, old programming, irritation that I'm calling bullshit on the fact that you've been abandoned. Sorry. And also not really. I'm not sorry at all. I'm super happy that I'm calling bullshit on that story because it's wrong. It's totally false. So anything that comes up in you, resistance, irritation, just allow it to move for a moment. You can pick it all back up at the end of the call. But for now, what if you could just release it? What if you could just open your feet up? It's just energy. It's just story. Just move it out. I promise there's more that can always come in. But what if you could just feel for the last 10 or 15 minutes, right? What if you could just feel like, really? We're just playing cards? For reals? Are we really? Yeah, you are, but it's okay. You don't have to believe me. You can just play along and see what feels true to you. All right, so in this moment, picture yourself in your body at the card table. Here's the cool thing. Whoever wins the game gets to be the dealer at the next game. So it's never one person who's in control, right? It's always moving. The power, the domination, if you want to use that word, the original one who just determines what the story is going to be, it's always changing. It feels the same for me with life and incarnations and being a human, right? We decide when we're going to come and who we're going to be and who we're going to partner with and what our life work is going to be. But when we forget that, we hand the blame and the responsibility over to other people. And then it's easy for us to go, well, they did it to me, right? My parents screwed me up from the beginning, and I'm never going to be okay because of what they did to me. Or that mean little kid in, 5th grade who punched me in the face, like he ruined my life. And so we hand our power over, and we don't have to do it that way. So notice when the card game begins, everyone gets the same exact number of cards. So let yourself land in your seat. No one starts off disadvantaged, even if it feels like it, right? So, for example, my son, when he was 5 months pregnant in utero, we found out he had hydrocephalus, and he was born perfectly normal. His fluid levels were high in his brain, but he was born vaginally, which they didn't think he would be able to, and he was healthy, and we took him home from the hospital. Everything we thought we weren't going to be able to do, he started off life equal to everyone else. And then at 2 months, he had surgery, brain surgery, to have a VP shunt put in. Again, could that have been a disadvantage? Sure, sure. And everyone put a lot of energy into that, except for me, who's like, this kid's fine. He is going to be a stinker his whole life. Like, I already know it. He's going to challenge me. He is so fine. And he's 13 right now, and he's so fine. So even what we perceive to be a disadvantage, I'm calling bullshit on that. We picked it. He picked it. There is something that his soul wants to learn, that he is navigating physically in these ways that he's been navigating, and he is doing it brilliantly. Right? So it's only a disadvantage if we fall into the trap of thinking that. So notice, you have a stack of cards in your hand, randomly distributed. None of us was sitting here counting them out going, I'm going to give her that number and him that number and that one that number. It's just whatever you get, right? All right, so we put the deck in the middle of the table. The ace goes down, whoever has the ace. If not, we just start with an ace. And then the person to, I think it was the right of the dealer, is the one who starts. So here's where it gets fun, right? Here's where it gets fun. I was actually comparing this to the soul filters when I was meditating this morning. I was like, oh, God, that's so good. So I'll share it with you because it was just so funny to see it this way. So the soul filters are these, in my opinion, in my belief, there are these filters that we put on our soul, and we go, I'm going to play with humanity, with being a human, with this covering that my soul is going to put on. So there's the physical covering, right, your physical body, where your huge soul has to fit into this tiny little human body. But there's also this energetic this spiritual sort of shroud that we put on ourselves. So we go, I'm going to work on these lessons in this lifetime, and I'm going to need some assistance because my soul is so brilliant. It's so incredible. I'm going to need to sort of filter it down so that I can walk as a human on that dense planet named Earth. And so we put these packages or beliefs around ourselves. So when I was watching the card game the first night, it was hysterical because I could see how the filters that each of those humans that I love so much were playing with were literally playing out in the card game. So let me give you an example. As we're sitting here with our cards, if you are a planet filter, you're going to look around the table. You're going to know that the ace was to your left. So you need a 2, the person next to you needs a 3, the person next to you needs a 4, the one next to them needs a 5. So by the time it comes back to you, you're going to need and you'll know whatever that number is, right? So you're going to hold back that card to make sure you're covered, and then you're going to keep counting all the way around to see what other cards you need. So you're going to stack your deck. You're going to start faking it on the ones that you can afford to lose, right? You're going to go, oh, I'm never going to need a 3 because I just counted what my numbers are going to be. So I'm going to get rid of the 3 first because I don't have the card I really need, and I'm going to fake it, and I'm just going to be this, really cool, calm, got all together, little poker player. I'm going to put it down, real chill. I'm going to go, yep, that's a 3, even though I know it's not. And because I'm so chill, I know I'm going to fool everybody, right? So the planet filter has it all mapped out. They got under control. Everything is cool. Except that ring filter on the other side of the card deck, the other side of the table, is looking at the table going, oh, my God, this is so fun. I get to call bullshit on someone. I get to swear in front of my parents. Oh, my God. Or like Brad, right, my husband. Oh, this is awesome. All these kids, I'm totally going to be able to call bullshit on these kids and say it without getting in trouble for swearing at children, which I don't get to do as a teacher all day. So I'm just going to say bullshit every chance I get. I don't care how many cards I get. It's about the fun and the adventure of this game, right? And so the ring filter, as in Brad, goes bullshit to the planet filter, my nephew. And you should see my nephew, right? Oh, my God, the plan, it didn't work. It didn't work. Everything's going wrong. And so his structure of how he wanted life to look just gets hit over the head, and everything crashes, and suddenly he's got all these extra cards, and now he's never going to win the game, and he's never going to get where he wants to be. It's amazing in just a card game how you can see the way that these things play with us. So for that planet filter that thinks that they have life figured out, and then it doesn't go the way we want, or the person we love and trust, right? Brad, my nephew loves Brad, and then Brad's calling bullshit on him and giving him all these cards, and he likes Brad, and Brad's not treating him right. There's a pulling in that we want to do. We want to go, wait, ouch, that doesn't feel good. I don't want that experience, right? Why is life treating me in that way again? And we forget it's just a card game. It's just a journey. It's just us sitting here with these people that we've called in to hang out with us and teach us and help us stretch, like yoga class. We go not to be wounded, not to leave there hurting the next day. We go to stretch, to expand, to be more than we have been before. And we can't do that by ourselves. We do it through community, through people nudging and teasing and sometimes being mean. Sometimes it feels like they sliced us apart, but it's an agreement we made to stretch and grow, and sometimes the lessons, they need to be that painful because we're so comfortable where we are. Right? We're so comfortable. And so we need that oomph, that push to help us really nudge to the next level of understanding our soul, of creating more consciousness than existed before. Yeah, so I want you to feel your spot at this card table. Feel yourself in your body. sense in this moment, like how many other people are playing cards with you at this time. If you only have 2 or 3 at the card table, you're playing it safe. You're playing it safe. What Source would say to you is, go make new friends. Go into new groups. Go stretch your wings a little bit. Go learn more from other people. Get out of your comfort zone. It might be scary. It might feel like this world is huge and crazy and why are you here? But I promise you, we picked this. We picked this. We wanted to be here in this physical form or we wouldn't exist. So feel how you can sit at the card table, whether there are 3 people here or 100 or 1,000,000. It doesn't make a difference. You have a seat. You have a deck of cards in front of you that you get to play on. You have your own hand of cards. You have some understanding of life, whether you call it your soul filter, whether you call it your gene keys, your template, your human design number, I don't even know, whatever labels or identification systems you're playing with so that you can see yourself, you can have a mirror to reflect you back to you. You have those pieces of information that can help you understand yourself better. But the wisdom isn't going to come so much from there as it is from the bouncing in and out of relationship, space, talking, experiences with other humans, with the world. That's where the biggest growth is always going to come from. For some of us, it's animals, right? My cat is just my freaking teacher. She drives me bonkers, but she pushes me to grow. My friend just got a puppy, another friend just got a dog, and they are stretching them. They are expanding their hearts so much more than if they didn't have that energy that was teaching them in the physical form. So feel your spot that you have claimed at this card table. If it feels intense, you can just invite Source to come a little closer to you, maybe right by your side, and maybe Source can put his or her hand at your back, at the lower part of your back, and just go, I've got you. I've totally got you. It's just a card game. Yeah, Source is so affectionate to me. It's like, sweetie, baby, did you forget we were just playing cards? Really? Because I promise you, that's all this is. That's all it is. And you might win this round, so hang in there. Keep faking it, right? Keep pretending. Keep throwing the card down on the deck and get a little mysterious smile on your face and wait to see if someone's going to call bullshit on you. And if they do, don't shrink. Don't shrink. Stand up and go, you're right. I'm taking all those cards. Woohoo! What my husband was so good at, just to give you an example, he would pick up, 30 cards out of the 2 decks we were playing with. And when we weren't playing the first night, he'd hand them to me. He's like, can you please sort out all my cards? And then when he had all of them grouped, someone would fake it, right? Someone on the other side would go, oh, I have 3 aces. And they'd put 3 cards down. They'd have this fun smile on their face like, yep, I sure do. And he'd open up his big pile of cards and he'd start counting. He's like, hold on, everyone. And he'd count and he'd go, well, since I have 6 aces, bullshit on you. Because there's no way there could be 9, right? And then they would just have to pick up all the cards. And his risk, his vulnerability became an advantage. It didn't hurt him. It became something that supported him. And it made the game so funny, right? Because we were all just laughing because he would say, hold on. And he'd pull out this huge stack of cards. And we'd all just be like, oh, crap. Busted, you know? So it can be fun, I promise. This journey, it can be so fun and so playful, and that comes from taking the risks. It comes from being vulnerable, from letting yourself show up and go, I don't know, but I'm going to just play the game, and I'm just going to be silly, and if you call bullshit on me, I'm not even going to cry, I'm just going to laugh. I'm going to laugh because I know it's just a game. I know Source is sitting right next to me with his or her hand at my back, and it doesn't matter if I win or I lose. I'm showing up, and I'm just being love. Go ahead and feel your feet connecting in again to the earth. If Source has his or her hand at your back, you can imagine that Source can suddenly just get bigger and stand right behind you and put both hands on your head and just lovingly send in whatever support you're open to receiving. So for me, it looks like white light. Right, and because I'm fully supported by the earth at my feet, I'll take as much white light as Source would like to send in, because it just moves straight down and through my body to my feet and then out into the earth. And all it does is it just wakes me up. It jumpstarts my heart. It reminds me I am safe. And I picked this game, and I picked these people. I picked this body. I picked this experience. And I'm doing it absolutely beautifully. And all of us are, right? All of us. Yeah, so I invite you to sit here for a minute or two. Feel that energy just moving through you from above. If it feels better to reverse the direction, you can just visualize Earth sending that purified energy from your feet all the way up and through your body, and it can whale spat out your head and just fill up your aura. Yeah, I'm going to let you hang for a few minutes. I'll leave the line muted, but open for you to just hold the space if you want it. Find some friends. Go play a game of bullshit today and just giggle and laugh your butts off. All right, my loves, so much love from me to each of you today. Have a beautiful day.